Well, alright everybody, welcome back to another edition here of Monday Night Raw. How are y'all doing? My name is Dominic, of course, behind the commentary table, and it is my honor, my privilege, to welcome each and every one of you to what should be a jam-packed edition of Raw. We have got British Strong Style taking on the Street Profits. We have got Tony Storm versus Asuka, and we've got a massive main event featuring this man, Tommaso Ciampa, and his opponent, Daniel Bryan. And ladies and gentlemen, that's just the tip of the iceberg. We've got a huge show to get through, and you're not going to want to miss it, as the new United States Champion, Tommaso Ciampa, looks to kick off this episode of Raw. Of course, Tommaso Ciampa concluded the last episode of Raw by earning himself that United States title. However, I would argue that he stole that United States Championship. It was a very, very back and forth contest between himself and 1/4 of the Undisputed Era, Roderick Strong. Both men beat the hell out of each other, but in the end, Tommaso Ciampa pulled out a victory via a roll-up pinfall attempt that proved to be successful, as he has successfully become the new United States Champion. So following his massive main event victory, the question is, to kick off this episode of Raw, what does he have to say? Oh, and it seems as though somebody, perhaps, may have some other thoughts in mind when it comes to who the truthful owner of that title is. As this man, Roderick Strong, like I mentioned a few moments ago, the former United States Champion, Roderick Strong, apparently has decided to interrupt the new champion, Tommaso Champa. That's Strong makes his way to the ring. You gotta be thinking, what's going through his mind now that he does not have that United States title in his possession? And it seems as though Strong has decided to lay out the challenge, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and well, it seems as though Tommaso Ciampa, like the cowarding snake that he is, has decided to slither away from this potential confrontation between himself and Roderick Strong, telling Strong that he is not going to be earning himself a shot at the United States title anytime soon. However, as Roderick Strong stands there in the middle of the ring, wondering what he's going to be doing next and in the foreseeable future when it comes to his current career path, I want to turn your attention to what's going to be happening later on tonight and what should be an exciting episode of Raw, as the Raw Women's Champion, Asuka, is set to go one-on-one with Toni Storm in a back-and-forth brawl. But that's not all, as speaking of champions, the Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar, is currently being represented by, of course, his advocate, Paul Heyman. And tonight, we're going to be hearing from the advocate, Paul Heyman, as he has some choice words about Brock Lesnar and his future here as Universal Champion. However, ladies and gentlemen, once again, speaking of champions, it's a night full of champions, ladies and gentlemen, as the United States Champion, Tommaso Ciampa, will be looking to main event tonight's show with a victory against Daniel Bryan. Will he be able to do it? We're going to find out in what should be a very back-and-forth brawl. However, once again, to keep using this same segue, speaking of champions, let me turn your attention to the Raw Tag Team Champions, as Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate of British Strong Style are looking to go 2-on-2 against these two, the Street Profits. Okay, the Street Profits are a very unique tag team in my opinion. However, so are British Strong Style. However, unlike the Street Profits, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate have proved to be a very dominant duo here on Raw, earning themselves the Raw Tag Team titles at WrestleMania before successfully defending them at the Money in the Bank event against the Usos. The very same Usos, in fact, that beat the Street Profits a few episodes ago here on Raw in a very interesting tag team bout. However, tonight, we're going to find out if the Street Profits can earn themselves a victory or if they will once again suffer a massive loss. But this time, to the Raw Tag Team Champions, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. However, of course, Pete Dunne specifically is coming off of a major loss from the last episode of Raw. As the Street Profits, they love to have fun. Pete Dunne is a very serious competitor, and he took his loss against Shinsuke Nakamura very seriously. It was the first matchup in our King of the Ring tournament. It was Pete Dunne versus Shinsuke Nakamura, the King of Strong Style, Mr. Money in the Bank himself, Shinsuke Nakamura, versus the Bruiserweight in Pete Dunne. However, Pete Dunne, he suffered a massive loss to kick off the last episode of Raw. And you gotta think Pete Dunne, psychologically, may not be feeling so well following that loss to Shinsuke Nakamura. It was a very, very good performance by Pete Dunne regardless. However, in the end, he just could not get himself that victory. However, as Shinsuke Nakamura looks ahead towards the King of the Ring event, we're going to find out if Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate can look forward to a victory right now as they make their entrance. And they are set for battle against the Street Profits. These two are very unique duos, yet very, very interesting tag teams. Okay, they are very different indeed. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, they are more known for their technical acumen. The Street Profits, they love to have fun, and they love to have fun at the expense of their opponents. So tonight we're going to find out if the Street Profits can get the job done, or if British Strong Style will once again prove to the world why they are the Raw Tag Team Champions. And we're kicking it off here with Montez Ford and Pete Dunne. And well, there you see Montez Ford immediately, perhaps trying to toy around with Pete Dunne. Perhaps get into his head here tonight. Pete Dunne, however, does not seem to be quite into the fun and games here. Oh, goodness, he punches him right in the stomach. And now, the Bruiserweight. Oh, my God. Perhaps a bit of a shout to Seth Rollins, stomping his skull into the mat. 1. No, only a 1 count, however. My God. Okay, and already you can tell that these two are very different competitors. Montez Ford, he loves to play around, he loves to goof around with his opponent. Whereas Pete Dunne, he's a very serious individual. Tyler Bate, I will say, a bit more lighthearted than his tag team partner. However, not that much. Not to the extent of Montez Ford, who takes down Pete Dunne with a back elbow. 1. No, and only a 1 count. Montez Ford, while he brings the agility to the Street Profits, it's Angelo Dawkins who brings the strength and power. And right now, Pete Dunne looks to slow down the pace. However, Montez Ford looks to quicken it back up, ducking underneath, seemingly having something in mind as he takes him down the hip toss. And now, it's Montez Ford once again, toying around with his opponent and playing around with the audience. He's a very charismatic competitor. However, right now, Pete Dunne getting a bit sick and tired of it, as he takes him down with a back suplex before stomping right on the chest of Montez Ford, and now stomping on the face, and again for good measure. Pete Dunne doing an excellent job here tonight, slowing down the pace. However, you gotta remember, he is one of those very rare competitors who loves to work at a slow pace, but can also morph his style into a very fast-paced matchup if he so wishes. But right now, Pete Dunne, as you can see, completely in control here tonight against Montez Ford with those brutal strikes. And now another stomp to the chest, as Pete Dunne now picks up his opponent before expertly keeping Montez Ford in his corner. Okay, sending Montez Ford into the corner of British Strong Style. And that's exactly what you want to do here in a tag team match. You want to isolate your opponents, and Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate know how to do just that, as they isolate Montez Ford before Pete Dunne makes the tag to Tyler Bate, as Tyler Bate interrupts Montez Ford, who looked to crawl over towards his tag team partner, but gets stopped there by Tyler. As Tyler Bate, the big, strong boy, as they call him here tonight. Oh, wait a second, going for a cover. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count. While he may look to you like he could be more well known for his high-flying agility, he is known, however, for these incredible feats of strength. But right now, it's Montez Ford who showcases to the world that he has the strength, the will to fight back against Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, as he connects there, sending him into the corner for a chop to the chest and a punch for good measure. As now it seems as though he's got something in mind. Montez Ford, once again, perhaps having some fun at Tyler's expense, setting him up as Angelo Dawkins. My God, the entire weight of Angelo. 1, 2, no, only a 1 count, however. The entire weight of Dawkins crashing down onto the lower spine of Tyler, and somehow it's Tyler who kicks out at 1. Okay, Tyler Bate, he is very well known for his incredible will and need to earn himself that victory, and perhaps that was a showcase of such will, kicking out at 1. However, Angelo Dawkins right now looking to control the pace here. Unlike his tag team partner Montez Ford, it's Angelo Dawkins who can also work at a slower pace. Okay, I would say that Tyler Bate and Montez Ford are fairly similar, with Angelo Dawkins being a bit more similar to Pete Dunne when it comes to the comparison between these two teams. 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count, however, following the splash by the big man. As Dawkins waits for him to get up. Oh God, it connects with a brutal right hand. My God. A punch as stiff as your dad in the morning, taking down Tyler Bate. However, it's Bate, there you see, ducking underneath the clothesline, trying to fight back before perhaps getting his jaw dislocated. However, oh God, it's, there you see, it's Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate looking to dislocate the jaw of, oh my God, of Angelo Dawkins before Pete Dunne just launches Tyler. 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count before Pete Dunne launches Tyler into Dawkins. as Angelo now goes for her kick. Oh, but there you see it's Pete Dunne who fights back here, slapping him in the face, sending Angelo once again to the corner now, slapping him in the chest with a big chop. As Pete Dunne sees this as an opportunity, picking him up and slamming him down, back suplex powerbomb combination, and the cover 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count once again. As Montez Ford watches on, desperately needing to make that tag, it's Angelo Dawkins who gets back to his feet, trying to fight back here, but instead gets caught with the running wheel kick, and Tyler Bate takes him down. 1, 2, no, and again only a 2 count. As Angelo Dawkins gets back to his feet, he's trying to fight back. However, Tyler Bate not giving him the chance to do so with the strikes, a trifecta of strikes right to the jaw, right to the face of Angelo Dawkins, before Tyler Bate decides to make the tag once again to Pete Dunne, and oh my god, the back of Angelo Dawkins being met with the sharp knees of Pete Dunne as he takes him down with a suplex. And Montez just desperately wants to make the tag here. However, he gets taken off the apron before he can do so. Before it's Dawkins who gets a massive kick to the face. And now once again Montez Ford gets taken back down. And Pete Dunne, perhaps seeing this as an opportunity, picking him up and connecting with the X-Plex. 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count there following the massive X-Plex. As Angelo Dawkins tries to battle through the pain, getting back to his feet. He goes for a punch, but instead gets a punch by Pete. As Dunn now continues this onslaught of strikes, but Angelo Dawkins tries to fight back here. Pete Dunne not giving him the chance to do so, however, in this very back and forth tag team matchup. As Dawkins sends Dunn into the corner. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Angelo finally makes the tag. Finally getting himself an opportunity to tag in his partner as Montez gets sent into Pete Dunne before Pete Dunne gets sent into Dawkins. Nearly decapitating him there with that clothesline as now he charges up and goes to the top, connecting with a leaping elbow drop. 2, no, and only a 2 count. Following a massive elbow drop, and Montez Ford right now is on fire, quickly flying through the air, landing hard on the chest before sending Tyler Bate crashing to the outside. Pete Dunne, the legal man for British Strong Style. Montez Ford, the legal man for the Street Profits, taking him down with the DDT, leaping into the air. As now he could be going for a pinfall predicament here. 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count. And there you see Tyler Bate getting right back up onto the apron. However, right now it's Pete Dunne who gets back to his feet as well, but Tyler Bate watches as Pete Dunne gets sent back into the mat before a suplex there connecting. And now there you see, it's Montez Ford once again playing around with the audience. He's feeling the energy here. He turns around to witness Pete Dunne making the hot tag to Tyler. And Tyler Bate now, he's ready to fight. He's ready to fight here. The big strong boy is ready for a battle as he goes after Montez, sending him into the corner. Oh, but there you see it's Angelo Dawkins who makes the quick tag, realizing the danger in this predicament before getting taken down to a knee by Tyler Bate, who connects with the DDT, sending Angelo Dawkins into the mat before sending Montez Ford shoulder first into the turnbuckle post. And Tyler Bate is taking on all comers here. 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count there, getting the shoulder up. There's Angelo Dawkins now. Oh, wait a second, he gets back to his feet. Waits for him. Oh! Hitting him with the Irish whip. Taking him down with the arm drag as he takes down Pete Dunne there. Punching him off the apron. As Dawkins now perhaps sees this as an opportunity. Sending Tyler Bate into the corner. And now, oh, wait a second. Oh, he takes him down as Montez Ford connects with the frog splash. 1, 2, 3, and the Street Profits have just beaten the Raw Tag Team Champions. What a back and forth battle here tonight between these two teams. Okay, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins pulling out a massive victory against Tyler Bates and Pete Dunne. However, you have to respect British Strong Style for what was, indeed, an incredible tag team bout between themselves and the Street Profits. Both duos going back and forth as those two men, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, get a massive victory against the tag team champions. However, right now, as they celebrate, I want to turn your attention over to Paul Heyman. Can Brock do that? Can Brock just skip a pay-per-view if he wants to? Brock's our Universal Champion. He is our World Champion. He's the man supposed to represent Raw as the top competitor, and yet Lesnar has decided that he's just gonna skip the King of the Ring pay-per-view and watch the event from his couch at home. Now, I don't know if you know where Brock Lesnar is, but I can guarantee you this. He does not live in Blackpool, England, where our King of the Ring pay-per-view will be taking place. And as such, it seems as though Lesnar has confirmed that there is no way he's going to make it to the King of the Ring event. Now, I don't know what Adam Cole, our former Universal Champion, has to say about this. Of course, Adam Cole just walked to ringside alongside Kalisto as Kalisto is set to go one-on-one with this man, a man who's had his own issues lately with the former Universal Champion Adam Cole, as Kalisto is set to go one-on-one with Kevin Owens. However, speaking of kings, I don't know what King Booker has to say about this. He's our Raw general manager, and can he control Brock to tell him to go to work? I don't know. I don't know, really, what to make of this. However, ladies and gentlemen, what I do know is that we're going to have to get back into the action in just a few moments, as Kevin Owens is set to go one-on-one with Kalisto, and apparently, the leader of the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, has decided to make his way to ringside alongside Kalisto. As the bell rings, let's get into it, with Kevin Owens immediately taking him down with a massive clothesline, and now just stomping on the stomach of Kalisto. Perhaps having a few choice words with his opponent as he does so before a brutal knee, and Kalisto already not looking too good in the opening moments of this matchup before getting stomped on. And as Kevin Owens just beats the hell out of Kalisto here tonight, I want to turn your attention to Adam Cole, the man who's watching on the outside. He's had a bit of a recent history with the former WWE Champion Kevin Owens, being attacked by Kevin Owens a handful of times, being interrupted by Kevin Owens on the last episode of Raw. And I think it's safe to say that their rivalry has definitely escalated very quickly, as it's Kevin Owens who's just escalating the violence in a quick manner here tonight, picking up Kalisto off his feet before taking him right back down, driving the knee right into the abdomen. As Kevin Owens waits for Kalisto to get up, I want to mention that following this matchup, it seems as though Pete Dunne and Tyler Bates, the current Raw Tag Team Champions, the two men who just lost to the Street Profits a few moments ago, will apparently have something to say. However, right now it's Kevin Owens who is letting his fists do the talking as he drives them into the body of Kalisto before sending Kalisto back right into the mat. Okay, Kevin Owens, he has been known as a very ruthless competitor. Kalisto is a very agile competitor. Okay, we saw a similar beatdown, perhaps involving Kalisto, a few episodes ago on Raw when he went one-on-one against Bobby Lashley, who just destroyed Kalisto. But even then, Kalisto got a few good shots, whereas right now Kevin Owens is not giving him the luxury here tonight as he picks him up. And oh, wait a second, Kalisto using that agility to get out of that predicament, turning it over into a kick there right to the side of the head. And Kalisto finally has an opportunity to shine here, waiting for him to get up, charging towards him, and slamming him down with the Salida del Sol. And Kalisto 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count, trying to make a massive comeback here against Kevin Owens. But Kevin kicks out of that Salida del Sol by Kalisto. However, of course, unlike Kevin Owens, Kalisto competed at the Money in the Bank event. He fought in the Money in the Bank ladder match in what was a violent affair. 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count. I was told before this matchup that Kalisto is 100% following that pay-per-view event, following that ladder match. However, right now it's Kevin Owens who charges towards him. As Kalisto, he tries to fight back here. As now he goes for a super kick, does Kevin Owens, but instead it's Kalisto who catches the leg, sending him into the corner, kicking him there. And now here we go, back and forth between these two men, as Owens now sees this as an opportunity, driving his shoulder into the stomach before driving his fist into the back of his opponent. Oh, well, there you see now, Kevin Owens deciding to talk some trash here tonight, staring down at Adam Cole. And now he picks up Kalisto, seeing this as an opportunity, kicking him in the stomach, beating the hell out of Kalisto. Kalisto, he only had one massive moment to shine here, as Kevin Owens perhaps takes the light out of his eyes with that massive pop-up powerbomb. And now, come on. Oh, come on, this is ridiculous. You already have him beat, Kevin. Okay, Owens has already beaten the hell out of Kalisto. He's already won. He's already won. This is just to send a message as he connects with a package pile driver. 1, 2, 3. And Kevin Owens, basically from the opening bell, has dominated this matchup. Kalisto, he only got maybe 2 good shots in, hitting him with that kick right to the side of the head, and then a Salida del Sol. However, Kevin Owens, sure, he may have kicked out that Salida del Sol, and sure, maybe Kalisto, he was finally getting some momentum in that moment, but in the end, Owens just showcases why he is a former WWE champion. And it's because of this ruthless and dominating nature, as Adam Cole watches on the outside, looking up at the man who has decided to target him over the past few episodes in Kevin Owens. Well, it seems as though the challenge has just been made. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate both want the rematch against Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, British Strong Style, want the Street Profits once again in a rematch, and it seems as though they are even willing to put the Raw Tag Team titles on the line. Now, I can't wait to hear what the Street Profits have to say about that, especially considering the fact that the Street Profits earlier in the episode just beat British Strong Style. And I can't wait to see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, they're incredible competitors, but so are the Street Profits. And I would love to see that tag team match once again. However, right now it's time to turn your attention back over to the squared circle, as there you see Toni Storm is ready for action against her opponent tonight, the Raw Women's Champion, Asuka. Now, of course, Toni Storm over the past few episodes has, well, basically created a bit of a history between herself and Io Shirai. And the only reason why I decided to bring Io Shirai up is because apparently Io Shirai has decided to challenge Asuka in her own right. However, over on the old Twitter machine, it's Asuka who has decided to lay out her response to perhaps WWE's next psychotic superstar in Io Shirai. Asuka tweeted out, quote, "Last week, Io tried to send me a message saying that she is my next challenger. Well, if you think you have what it takes, then I won't mind proving you wrong. Nobody is ready for Asuka, and you're going to learn just that." So how about that for an answer, ladies and gentlemen? Asuka apparently wants the match as well. Asuka versus Toni Storm coming up next. But then apparently Asuka can now look ahead to Asuka versus Io Shirai. And I can't wait to see what happens between those two competitors. But right now, we're going to have to settle with what should be an incredible contest between Toni Storm and Asuka. As Toni Storm in the black and red looks over at the champion with a large combination of colors for her ring gear. As we're kicking it off here, collar and elbow tie-up. It's Toni Storm and Asuka. I will say this, Asuka, while she is very much known for her striking game, I would argue that Toni Storm, perhaps, is the better striker out of these two competitors. However, I can't deny that Asuka is perhaps the better technical wrestler, as you can see right now, with Toni Storm having her in a headlock, and Asuka knowing exactly how to get out of it, but Toni Storm, just like that, decides to counter with a strike of her own, and that's exactly what I'm saying there. Just in that short sequence, you can see it. Asuka trying to outthink her opponent, whereas Toni Storm is looking to out-hit the Raw Women's Champion. However, right now, Asuka with a headlock in her own right. Toni Storm, however, now caught. And now perhaps using her strength here, pushes her across the ring, catching her right there into a massive German suplex. 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count. Taking down the champion as she goes for a kick. However, as you just saw, it's Asuka who strikes back, goes for a running drop kick, but nobody home. Toni Storm, however, sending her into the corner, but instead gets a strike back, and now here we go, back and forth sequence to kick off this massive matchup. As Toni Storm gets a chest full of turnbuckle and gets dropped down on her back. 1, no, only a 1 count following a massive slam. And Asuka right now goes after Toni Storm here. Non-title match indeed between these two women. However, I would not mind seeing Toni Storm getting a shot at that Raw Women's title. Okay, these two fan favorites, in my opinion, are two of the best we have here on Raw. However, Asuka, there you see, taking down Toni Storm, looking to perhaps choke the life out of her here. She's got her in a bit of a guillotine, and the champion now, out of nowhere, has her in a submission hold, and Toni Storm is in a dangerous predicament, but she gets out of it. And Toni Storm goes for a strike. However, Asuka still tries to fight back here, but instead gets a clubbing shot to the back. And now once again, the back and forth maneuverings continue. However, I would argue it's now Asuka who has control in this back and forth exchange. However, instead, she gets a back elbow by Toni Storm. Perhaps going for a cutter of some kind. But instead, Asuka turns it into a massive back suplex, taking her down. And now, immediately, once again, seeing this as an opportunity to go for a submission hold here. I mentioned it a few moments ago. I believe it's Asuka who has the technical advantage in this one. And as you can see right now, she's looking to put that to good use. Trying to tap out Toni Storm. Trying to choke the life out of Toni Storm. Trying to wear her down here tonight. And Toni Storm needs to somehow find a way to get out of it. And it seems as though Toni Storm found that way with a massive powerbomb. What a showcase of strength as she goes for a strike. Does Asuka, but instead, Toni Storm takes her down. And perhaps Toni Storm may have found an opening. As Asuka gets back to her feet, Toni Storm immediately drops her back down here. Goes for a strike and connects before deciding to pick up the champion. Kicking her right in the stomach. Now having full control of Asuka. My God. The knees right into the abdomen. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count. As you just saw, it looked like Asuka was trying to escape this onslaught. But Toni Storm decided to keep her in the squared circle, pulling her away from the ropes and going for the pinfall attempt. Smart strategy, I will admit, by Toni Storm. And Asuka needs to somehow find a way to make a comeback. But Toni Storm, if she continues this, well, then she might end up with a victory here against the champion. And Asuka, now once again, backed away into the corner, and she's not looking too good. Oh, as a chop to the chest connects, and Asuka has no choice but to just fall to the ground. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count. Suffering from the pain, suffering from exhaustion here. As these two main event players are battling here on Raw. And Toni Storm now connects with a mid-rope leg drop. And the cover. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count again. And as Toni Storm looks ahead, perhaps she could somehow win here tonight. Perhaps her future plans at becoming champion. Again, she's pulling out a hell of a performance here. And maybe she could just beat Asuka. But perhaps as she's looking ahead towards those potential plans, as she continues this onslaught on Asuka, I want to turn your attention to what's going to be happening following right after this matchup. It's going to be Daniel Bryan versus Tommaso Ciampa in our main event. And Toni Storm runs at her, charges towards her. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count with a running hip attack. Trying to perhaps get us to that main event sooner rather than later. However, Asuka kicks out, once again showcasing that incredible heart and determination. But right now she gets dropped on the back of her head. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count. As Toni Storm now looks down, perhaps at the weakened Asuka. She's got to be thinking, how do I put her away for good? How do I take her down? What's the one move that'll keep Asuka down for the victory? Many women have tried to find an answer to that. Only a small few have actually successfully found that answer. Because Asuka, as you can see right now, she always strikes back. She always fights back. However, Toni Storm immediately shuts that down and sends her to the top turnbuckle. As Toni Storm now sees this as an opportunity to connect with the superplex, driving Asuka all the way to the mat. From the top turnbuckle all the way to the mat goes Asuka. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count again as Toni Storm looks to head up the ladder of success. Looks to climb the rankings here on Raw with a victory over the Raw Women's Champion. As there you see, Asuka, she's trying to feel the energy of the crowd, but Toni Storm trying to shut that comeback down once again. But Asuka, with a duo of clotheslines and a super kick for good measure, finally creates some breathing room to go for the pinfall. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count once again. This time, however, it's Toni Storm getting the shoulder up. Oh, as Asuka connects with a big right hand. Asuka again, over and over again here. With the strikes connecting once again. This time a European uppercut. However, as I mentioned earlier, Toni Storm perhaps the more gifted striker here on Raw out of these two female combatants. But right now it's, Asuka is going blow for blow here against Toni. Oh, as you can see right there, Toni Storm goes for a strike to the chest and once again gets countered with a European uppercut. However, wait a second, Asuka now, out of nowhere, has her in the Asuka lock, out of nowhere having her in the Asuka lock, and Toni Storm has no choice but to tap out to that so devastating submission hold, with the Raw Women's Champion earning herself an out of nowhere victory against Toni. My God, what a fight, and you gotta commend Toni Storm, you gotta applaud Toni Storm here. She put out a hell of a performance, hitting everything in her arsenal except for one move, the Storm Zero. And perhaps if she were to hit that move, well then maybe we could be hearing her music right now, but instead it's Asuka who celebrates the victory. No, wait a second. As I'm trying to talk about Asuka, it's Io Shirai who charges in and targets Asuka. It's Io Shirai who targets the Raw Women's Champion. And now, with a kick right to the stomach, and again for good measure, over and over again here tonight on Asuka. But wait a second, Io Shirai gets taken down. I mentioned it earlier. These two women have some history, and Toni Storm has decided to save the woman who just tapped her out in the middle of the ring. As Storm and Asuka both stand together as one unit, looking across at Io Shirai. And you gotta think, is Io Shirai about to do this? Is Io Shirai about to walk into the ring? Oh, I guess not. Io perhaps weighing her options and realizes that this attack on Asuka has just been foiled by Toni Storm. Oh, speaking of Toni Storm, looks like she has decided to have a bit of a stare down here with Asuka, following that massive victory for Asuka over Toni a few moments ago. However, ladies and gentlemen, following all the action, all the chaos that we've seen thus far here on this episode of Raw, I want to turn your attention to what's going to be happening right here on the next episode of the Red Brand, as the Raw Tag Team titles will be on the line. The Street Profits versus British Strong Style, with the rematch taking place. And I can't wait to see what happens. However, that's not all, as the NXT title will once again be on the line. Keith Lee, following his successful defense against Bobby Lashley a few episodes ago, will now be going toe-to-toe against the glorious one, Robert Roode. Will Roode be able to take that NXT title away from him? We're going to find out. However, speaking of former challengers for the NXT title, it's Daniel Bryan making his way to the ring. As you can hear the chorus of yes chants echoing throughout the arena. It is now Daniel Bryan, the leader of the yes movement, in our main event of the evening, versus Tommaso Ciampa. Of course, Tommaso Ciampa, he won the United States Championship on the last episode of Raw with a roll-up victory against Roderick Strong, pinning him to the mat 1, 2, 3 out of nowhere, becoming the champion. Daniel Bryan, however, he has not felt the sweet taste of success in his own right in what feels like quite some time. Sure, while Choppa is walking into this episode with a massive victory, with the United States title that belongs to him, it's Daniel Bryan who has perhaps seen his career go through a bit of a losing streak recently. Okay, Daniel Bryan at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view event, he lost to the then debuting Andrade Cien Almas in an excellent display of athleticism by both men. Okay, but then he also lost to Keith Lee, as I just mentioned, at WrestleMania. Once again, an excellent contest. However, once again, Daniel Bryan found himself on the losing end of things. And then, just like the previous two matches that I just mentioned, it was Daniel Bryan on the losing end of things in his Money in the Bank ladder qualifying matchup against Kyle O'Reilly in what was, in my opinion, perhaps match of the year since WrestleMania. An absolutely groundbreaking display of technical offense between those two men, and it really showcased what Daniel Bryan can do. However, tonight, Daniel Bryan has to parlay those skills into a successful victory. As the bell rings, and we get right down to it. Bryan staring across the ring at the United States Champion. It's the main event of the evening. It's Tommaso Ciampa. It's Daniel Bryan. And it's a fight! And I can't wait to see what happens as Tommaso Ciampa, the man with perhaps the striking advantage, goes up against the man with perhaps the technical advantage walking into this one. I would also argue Daniel Bryan has a bit more of a high-flying advantage. However, Tommaso Ciampa's ruthlessness cannot be outmatched. As you're seeing right now with these strikes over and over again. Just stomping away at Daniel Bryan. As now the leader of the Yes Movement right now. Oh! Not looking too good. Just getting stomped away here. Reminding me, perhaps, of that Kevin Owens versus Kalisto match we witnessed a few moments ago. But right now, Tommaso Ciampa, once again, with this ruthless nature, looks to keep Bryan down here with a running knee right to the side of the skull. And the cover now, 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count there, getting the shoulder up. As Tommaso Ciampa waits for Bryan to get up, Bryan does get back to his feet. I don't think he really understands what hit him. Well, I'll explain to you this. It's Tommaso Ciampa, and he's going to keep hitting you. 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count. He's going to keep hitting you, Daniel, until you stay down. And right now, Tommaso Ciampa, I'll admit, out of nowhere perhaps, but nonetheless, Tommaso Ciampa is beating the absolute hell out of Bryan here in this main event matchup as again he takes him down. And another cover, 1, 2, no, and another kick out by Bryan. And now there you see Tommaso Ciampa over and over and over and over and over and over again with these stomps. And he's not done. As now, oh, come on, now he's just targeting the leg. Tommaso Ciampa, as I just mentioned. Okay, his ruthlessness is unmatched. Okay, if this was the mid-2000s, I would argue that Tommaso Ciampa has indeed that ruthless aggression that Vince McMahon was looking for. However, right now, Tommaso Ciampa, he's a very aggressive man here, and thus he has that ruthlessness that he will use to perhaps defeat Daniel Bryan if he can somehow take him down for the 3 count. However, right now it's Bryan who looks to strike back here. Daniel Bryan, he goes for the kicks. However, right now he reverses the Irish whip. He ducks underneath. And he takes him down with a hip toss. And perhaps this could be his moment. Takes him down with the arm drag. And takes him down again. This time with a suplex. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count. And even though the referee perhaps was in the middle of that shot, it's Daniel Bryan who's in the middle of a hurricane here, trying to battle this never-ending onslaught of Tommaso Ciampa. Ciampa now standing in the way of a victory for Bryan. However, you could argue that Daniel Bryan as well standing in the way of a victory for Ciampa. This is the main event of the evening. These two know what a main event match means for the competitors on Raw. It means that the upper management perhaps has respect for you. It means that if you can earn yourself a victory, then maybe you will be the big talking point here in WWE. And right now, Daniel Bryan, he's sick of being ignored, and he wants people to talk about him once again. And perhaps as the greatest technical wrestler alive as he goes for another submission hold. With Daniel Bryan now, there you see, just working over the arms, working over the shoulders. But Tommaso Ciampa, just like that, strikes back once again. And in just that sequence of maneuvers, you can see the differences between these two men. Like Toni Storm and Asuka, with Toni Storm being the expert striker and Asuka being the expert technician. It's Bryan who perhaps is the better technician, with Choppa proving to be the more dangerous striker here. And now there you see the knees trying to break the damn nose of Bryan, of the former WWE champion, as the current United States champion just dumps him to the outside. Okay, we've already had an incredible show here on Monday Night Raw. So much excellent action between the top competitors we have here on the red brand. But right now, Tommaso Ciampa is perhaps showcasing to the world why he believes he is the best competitor on Raw. As the count is 7 by the referee connects, it's Tommaso Ciampa who throws him into the barricade and now throws Bryan back into the ring. Tommaso Ciampa using his environment to his advantage. We've already seen it thus far, using the ropes to dump Daniel Bryan to the outside, and now using the mat as a way to just smash Daniel Bryan's face into it. 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count, following the Psycho Cutter, twisting him around and slamming him into the mat. Yet it's Daniel Bryan who once again gets the shoulder up, and Tommaso Ciampa is now wondering what the hell to do here against Bryan. Daniel Bryan, he's one of those rare competitors, one of those very rare competitors who will stop at nothing until he earns himself a victory. Tommaso Ciampa, sure, I won't say that this man doesn't have heart. I won't say that this man doesn't have determination. However, he will not give you an opportunity to fight back, as you see right there. Tommaso Ciampa moves out of the way of an incoming attack by Bryan. Tommaso Ciampa, he's an incredible offensive competitor, and I mean that in multiple ways. Offensive to the eyes, offensive to the ears, but also offensive in the sense of he is going to be on the offense until you are no longer able to protect yourself. Daniel Bryan, he has that heart, that need, that determination, the resiliency within him to fight back no matter what. And there you see it's Daniel Bryan who looks to fight back here. Looks to showcase that heart and that resiliency here. And Bryan now charges towards him there with a duo of drop kicks in the corner. And now it's Daniel Bryan who perhaps can see this as an opportunity to make his comeback. After a non-stop display of violence by Tommaso Ciampa, it's Bryan in this main event who looks to fight back here. And Ciampa gets taken down on the back of his head. And Bryan is charging himself up. Once again, he feels the energy of the Yes Movement. He feels the energy of the crowd. He hits him with the Irish Whip. Once again, takes him down with an arm drag. And Bryan waits for him to get back to his feet. And now again, drops the arms. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count. Traps the arms and connects with the belly to back German suplex. However, once again, it's Daniel Bryan who can't keep Tommaso Ciampa down for the 3 count. However, instead, Tommaso Ciampa now once again a submission hold. The hold has been applied here, and Daniel Bryan looks to tap him out right now. However, there you see Tommaso Ciampa this time very quickly getting out of the submission attempt. Daniel Bryan, he's trying to wear down Tommaso Ciampa with all of these submission holds. Tommaso, he is trying to wear down Daniel with all of these expertly timed strikes. As you can see throughout the entire course of the match, he's been focusing on every single body part as Tommaso Ciampa, and now perhaps as Daniel Bryan in very different ways, as he's got him here in a submission hold, working over the leg, working over the heel, working over the ankle, trying to tap him out here. Oh, but there you see Tommaso Ciampa once again uses that other boot to get out of that submission hold. Okay, both men have been going after each other this entire matchup, and Daniel Bryan now! Daniel Bryan now! He's got him in the yes lock! He's got him in the S-lock. Will he tap? Will he tap? Choppa, the United States champion. He's stuck in the yes-lock, but he gets out of it. He gets out of the yes-lock, and Tommaso Ciampa's gotta be in a hell of a lot of pain right now. Throwing Daniel Bryan into the corner, perhaps trying to create some space between himself and Bryan, but Bryan gets out of it, and he hits him with a brutal right hand, as now both men perhaps are now on an even playing field. Tommaso Ciampa has beaten the hell out of Daniel Bryan, using the environment, using his expertly timed strikes. However, it's Daniel Bryan who has used his incredible submission game, his ground game, and now perhaps his ability to fly through the air as he's got him up on the top turnbuckle, and typically that spells disaster here in the world of professional wrestling, as Bryan connects! Arm trap superplex off the top. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count there. Taking Tommaso Ciampa off the top turnbuckle all the way to the mat. But Daniel Bryan unable to keep him down. So Choppa, oh wait a second. Choppa now out of nowhere. He's tapped out so many competitors with this one maneuver. Daniel Bryan stuck in it. Daniel Bryan's arm, it's being wrenched here tonight. Tommaso Ciampa has used this maneuver to tap out so many competitors, and Daniel Bryan, the expert submission specialist, almost just tapped out to a submission hold by Tommaso Ciampa. However, now it's Choppa who goes to fight back here. Daniel Bryan connects with a punch and a European uppercut. His arm has to be weak here tonight, following a submission hold by Tommaso Ciampa, that submission attempt. And right now, these two are going back and forth, reversal for reversal, counter for counter here in this matchup. As Daniel Bryan, oh, what the hell? Wait a minute, Daniel's got him! Daniel out of nowhere! Daniel out of freaking nowhere has him in his submission hold. Now, stealing Ciampa's move! He looks to tap him out! He's been wrenching on the arm! He's been going after the arm! However, Choppa now, perhaps just as badly injured in the shoulder as Daniel Bryan is, with both men using that same submission hold. You gotta think Choppa must feel incredibly insulted by that. But Daniel Bryan, he's a submission specialist. Okay, he's like Dean Malenko in that sense. He's the man of 1,004 holds. However, right now it's Daniel Bryan who doesn't need to count to 1,004. He needs to count to 1, 2, 3. No, and only a 2 count. He needs to go to 1, 2, 3 in order to earn himself the victory. But Daniel Bryan looks down at Choppa, who looks to get back to his feet as he charges towards him. Oh, nobody home! It looks like he was going for the running knee, but nobody home! And Choppa sees this as an opportunity, connecting with the Psycho Cutter, twisting him around here in the main event. 1, 2, no, and only a 2. My God! That's all I can say right now. My God. Neither man willing to quit. He goes for the kick. Daniel Bryan catches him, however, oh, wait a second. Daniel Bryan catches him out of nowhere. Another yes lock. Come on, Daniel. Daniel looking to tap out the new United States champion. Looking to tap out Tommaso Ciampa. Will Ciampa tap here? No. Choppa gets out of it. He connects with a chop. What more will these two men do to the other? What more does Choppa have left in the tank? What more does Daniel Bryan have left in the tank as he connects there with a back elbow and now sends him across the ring and takes him down with a hip toss? And Bryan now kicks him in the back of the leg, and now Daniel, feeling the energy, soar through the crowd. Yes chants, everybody in the arena pointing to the sky, with Tommaso Ciampa falling down to the mat as Daniel slowly waits for him to get back to his feet, and now he's got him middle of the ring. He's got him in the middle of the ring here. Daniel's got him. Daniel's got him a yes lock once again, and Tommaso Champa taps in the middle of the ring. I'm sorry if I started screaming. I'm sorry if I perhaps got a little too loud for you. However, I cannot deny the energy coursing through this arena. I cannot deny the emotion on Daniel Bryan's face. We've watched as Daniel has lost, and you can hear it. Even during the replays, you can hear it. The yes, 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 yes chants by everybody in attendance. Okay, Daniel Bryan has successfully beaten Tommaso Ciampa. It wasn't easy, but he's done it. Hitting him with a multitude of yes locks. Hitting him with the superplex. Hitting him with everything. Tommaso Ciampa, the new United States champion, has just been taken down a peg. As you can see right there, everybody pointing to the air, pointing to the sky, and Daniel Bryan celebrating with his audience, celebrating with his supporters. Daniel Bryan, he's been on a massive losing streak lately, and tonight, it's Bryan who just celebrates a victory. Oh, well, wait just a second. Well, right when I was about to... Okay, well, right when I was about to start signing off here, it seems as though tonight's show is going to start. Just like how it ends, with Roderick Strong walking down to the ring with Tommaso Ciampa alone in it. However, it seems as though Choppa is perhaps too weak for this confrontation. Oh, Roderick Strong with some strong words here, and Tommaso Ciampa does not appreciate it. And here we go. Strong and Choppa, following our main event, are now brawling, are now battling. Daniel Bryan, he celebrates the win, and Roderick Strong beats the hell out of a weakened Choppa. Back and forth these two men go, and this rivalry, ladies and gentlemen, has just escalated even more, with Strong connecting with the end of Heartache, the knees being driven into the spine of Tommaso Ciampa, of now perhaps an unconscious Tommaso Ciampa, as Roderick Strong picks him up. And Strong now dumping Tommaso out of the ring. And well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this episode of Raw. Thank you for what was an incredible episode. And I can't wait to see what happens next time. Good night, everybody.